Like that.
I like it, man. I like it.
I
But take the under.
We are.
We look out now. The sideline. Forget about it. This baby's over.
Oh, my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman.
And most especially in 310 days in Ann Arbor, Michigan, on the football field.
Another block. One more. He's got it. Touchdown. No flag.
Samuel cuts it back. Ohio State wins.
Here's the run again. Donovan Edwards. Whoa. Can they catch him? No. Donovan Edwards again. The down.
All righty. Welcome back to Scarlet and Blue Show. I'm so excited for this week. This is what we've been waiting for. Garrison, are you pumped up for this week?
All right, so it hasn't hit me yet. One of my good friends from the Navy is Cam O'Connor. He always asks me he asked me the day before, and then he asked me maybe an hour leading up to. He goes, "Are you anxious yet?" Because he knows I'm very, very cool until about 5 minutes before that game starts. After that, Bryce, it everything goes out the window. I'm sitting there on edge. But I'm very excited, man. It's a big week for Ohio State. Big week for Penn State also. And then just in terms of the rivalry, it's a big game for you guys up in down in East Lansing. So
You're underselling this week. This week is awesome. We've got
I'm
top.
trying to say so cool.
What is Penn State? What Penn State 6, right? 5, 6.
Yeah, 6.
You got a
6.
top 6 matchup. You got a team that is for some reason, for no reason I can't think of one, is in the public opinion is rated higher than the other team, even though they beat the other team one time in the last 8 years. So you have that game, and then you have a hated rivalry.
Probably the most toxic rivalry of college sports.
It's up there. It's up there. I hear stories from other rivalries, but daggone it, yeah, it's up there. It's up there, which means I gotta start selling this. Oh. Like that.
I like it, man. I like it.
I had to make it myself, so I'm probably not gonna be selling this. I'm sure
You made that yourself?
I did. A little screen printer set. Arts and Crafts Day. Thank you. So we had that game, which it has to be the most under-anticipated or like the least amount of excitement for this game in the most recent history. Like I can't remember the last time there was a lack of this much excitement going into this game.
Yeah, even last year, Michigan State wasn't good, but there was some excitement in that, Whereas this year, I think everyone's looking forward, or not looking forward to, but they also you guys is destroying Michigan State, which I do too. So.
Do you? Well, we can dive in here, and I'm trying to let me pull up the most recent spread. What is it? I saw 25 as it opened.
It opened at 20. Oh God. I think that's pretty big.
That's a Hardy spread. So is that 20?
I said Hardy.
Yeah, 24, and it stayed at 24.
Okay.
So 24 points. You go back to 2020 candy cane season. Michigan was about the same number.
Stop saying that, Bryce. We took the field.
Michigan was, I think, this similar to that, 20 plus points. But it feels a little bit different. So let's dive in. We got 1,000 things to talk about.
Real quick. Real quick, just 5 seconds. Do you remember the spread to the Ohio State Michigan game that year?
In 2020?
Yeah.
I don't know. They didn't play that year, so I don't know.
Do you know what the spread was out though? It was out. You know what it was?
No, what was it? I don't remember this.
It was like 30 to 40 points.
No, it wasn't. No chance.
I'm so serious. We can fact check that at the end.
Yeah. There's no way that it would be 40 points.
Here, I'm gonna be listening to you. Go ahead and talk about your guys' game. It's the easier one to talk to about.
No, is it? Okay, I got lots to say. So we'll dive into this one because
come on.
This one's fun. This game is fun. For all the reasons. Two teams hate each other. Fan bases hate each other in a way. But it's the interesting thing about the in-state rivalry is that there's always overlap amongst friends and families, and so you can't really hate each other because you probably have family members who are on the other side. Whereas Michigan, Ohio State, you likely don't have a ton of family on the other side unless you're one of those crazy people like you.
Is your mama Spartan?
She is. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying she's.
Okay, so you're.
I don't hate. Yeah, I don't hate the school because of that, but that football program I cannot stand.
Right.
So I want. I hope we blow the doors off. But let's dive in. Elephant in the room, Garrison, I would say is two things. One, it's the debacle that entire football program is in right now. What Mel Tucker did, I have a genuine sympathy for those players. They got absolutely screwed over. They deserve better. It's unfortunate, and you're seeing decommitments now, and you're probably going to see transfers. You're seeing people sit out because they say they're injured, but really it's like, let's just stay healthy so that we can transfer. And I get it. I don't blame them. So that sucks. But for all the fans, hey, cool. The guy won twice against Michigan. Now you got this. So good on you guys. Good on you. The other elephant in the room is, Garrison, is the year after the tunnel incident. We all remember the tunnel incident. We all remember what happened.
What happened?
It's disgusting, like 19-on-1, just assault of an innocent player who I'm sure didn't say a word to deserve any of that.
Don't go frolicking. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You know, I'm being somewhat sarcastic, but that did happen. And given everything that's happening, I just mentioned, does take a little bit away from that. So you've got the tunnel gate, if you will. A couple things. So the Michigan coaches and players have been very quiet about things, very much like that was in the past, but we'll see. Jim Harbaugh says a goldfish mentality.
What's that mean?
What?
What the heck does that mean?
You ever seen Ted Lasso? The goldfish mentality? You should forget about it. They asked Jalen Harrow, he said, they asked if Michigan players talked much about the tunnel incident against MSU last fall, and he says, not really, but he grinned shortly after, and makes you wonder if that grin maybe said a little bit more. So I'll be darned that it's in the back of their mind. I think Michigan players are going to come out after it because of that. I'm sure Michigan State will come out with a I don't know, intensity as well, a little extra than a normal game. But look at that program and the 3 losses they just came off. And now
one should have been a win. One should have been a win.
Why? I mean, Iowa could have been a win. Maryland could have been a win. They outgained them.
Yeah.
But the turnovers is crazy. So you got to get off the deck after 3 disappointing games. And then you got, that doesn't include the beatdown to Washington. And then you got to go in at night and play the
Bryce, what was my bet that day? What was my bet that game?
Yeah, I think you picked Sparty to cover, and they lost, 42-7? So I don't know. I don't know how you approach this game. I think Harlan's, what's his name? The head coach. Harlan.
Harlan. Yep.
Seems like a good guy. Players seem to like him, but the lack of discipline and the coaching that has shown itself on the field is disgusting. They had 3 turnovers against Rutgers, 4 turnovers against Iowa, 5 turnovers against Maryland. That's averaging 4 turnovers a game.
Just over 4.5. You said 5, 4?
No, 3, 4, 5.
3, 4. Yeah,
so 4. Yeah. So you would think Michigan's going to get maybe 1, at least 2. Who say they're not going to get more? I don't know. I just don't know how you get off the deck.
2 bare minimum. 2 bare minimum.
Right. And I don't know if you watched. Did you watch the Rutgers game? I felt like I took 5 shots of Fireball watching that game. It was a mess. Just a disgusting play. One of the reasons why you just love college football, because it was an absolute gong show. But another reason why it just, I don't know how you're Michigan State, you get up for this game. But maybe it's a rivalry. I think if you go back to the tunnel incident too, this is the other interesting thing I thought, all right, what players who were involved are playing in this game? And it was interesting to kind of see who's active, and who's made an impact this year and who's playing.
Mm-hmm.
There's was, I think, five charges, or 5 players got charged. So Jacoby Wyndham was one. He was a pretty good linebacker. He's out for the season with an injury. Then you have a defensive end, Zion Young, who's one of the leading tacklers with 20 tackles. So an important player. So you wonder, someone like that, after that incident, I'm sure he's going to be playing with some fire. You've got Tavion Tank Brown, hasn't really played. Yeah, Tavion Tank Brown. And then Brandon Wright and Justin White are 2 defensive backs who are minimal contributors. And then the last guy is a defensive back, Angelo Gross, who actually is leading the team with 2 picks and has 29 tackles. So you got 2 key contributors who are part of that mess who are going to be on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
So how that shows itself, I don't know. You look at the Michigan side, Green, who's no longer on the team. And then you've got Jaden McBurrows, who has limited playing time. They were the Michigan players involved in that. So I don't know how it's going to show himself for those individuals, but interesting thing just to keep an eye on.
No, you're really harking on that incident that happened last year. No, man, like, let's just call it what it is, bro. Once again, for this week, what you're doing is digging deep to find something worth the conversation.
That's how I thought you were going with this, but yeah, you're correct.
It's like I'm just looking at Michigan State stats right now. It's not like I put it out there earlier today. I know we both saw it. I said, listen, if Michigan State was, and I mean just any type of success in this game, show a pulse, fast start on offense, and I think I said something about their defense. Play fast on defense, because I think that's their only chance. I mean, you just got to play like a house of fire. Like, look, there's no position in this game where Michigan State has a better player.
No,
nowhere. Now, had you had Andrell, that'd be a different conversation. I'm sorry, not Andrew Anthony. I'm thinking about
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's a top 3 to 5 wide receiver. Now, Andrell, what he was doing down in Oklahoma was just,
he's a great season.
Like, he's hurt. I mean, he's out for the season now.
Yep.
But so I feel bad for the kid because I think we talked about saying he's gonna do something down there.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, listen, Michigan has. Let's start with the trenches. Michigan has the advantage in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Already, you are playing behind the 8 ball.
Mm-hmm.
Then you talk about your quarterback. They both suck. So they're like your running backs aren't that. Your running backs aren't bad.
Yeah, I like their backs.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good players.
Yeah.
But what does that matter?
Jalen Berger.
But when you listen, this isn't K9 back there. K9 was able to work with a very decent to average old line and just wreak havoc.
Yeah.
You don't have that back there.
No.
You don't have the outside weapons. Your tight ends aren't that bad. Their tight ends are pretty good. But on defense, like, listen, man, you've seen Ohio State do it. You've seen other teams do it. Why? This is the game where if J.J. McCarthy wants to put himself back in the Heisman race, go out there and light them up.
Yeah.
Because I think Michigan State will be able to hold on. They won't get gassed in the run that well. I don't think they get gassed in the run like that. But over the top, they've got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing that's like they haven't for 3 years now. So
yeah.
I'm really interested to see this, man. I am. I'm not interested. I'm just really interested in seeing the way that Michigan State responds in this game.
I like Hauser. I do. I went back and watched.
Like Caton?
I do. I like Caton Hauser. He's do you know where he went to high school? I missed this. He went to St. John Bosco.
Yeah.
That's like the best high school.
Yeah,
one of the best high schools in the country out in California. So you look at the rest of that roster when he graduated, that class, that team was stacked. And so maybe that, I guess, pumped up his numbers. I don't know. You could probably make that argument too. But I liked what I saw from him, and I'm not gonna say I'm worried about him, but I think he's a talented quarterback. Now, what does he have around him? Trey Mosley, Foster Jr. I
Nobody.
Yeah. Nobody. Nathan Carter, the running back. Fun fact, he wanted to go to Michigan. Couldn't cut it. So, hey, I guess he's not playing in the big house, but he gets to play against him. So, yeah, and I don't know, man. You're right. That defense, Michigan State, I feel like has always had a pretty good D-line, even in down years.
And linebackers.
And linebackers. And they got that white guy who doesn't wear gloves. Who seems pretty good, but he's a white guy.
Your average Michigan State player.
I don't know what to tell him. And then I watched Kyle Monungai for Rutgers wear them down in the fourth quarter too. You're telling me Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards?
No, not Donnie. No,
Donnie can wear him down. I can't believe you're hating on this guy this much. Why are you hating on Donovan Edwards?
I'm not hating Bryce. Bryce. Am I hating or am I going by what he has statistically done all year and on film?
What is? Yeah, I'm not gonna do this right now.
He had 2.2 last game, Bryce.
We gotta. What about receiving though? You're not accounting for his receiving yards.
So is he a wide receiver or running back?
He's an all-purpose back. What do you mean he's a wide receiver running back?
He's not all-purpose right now. He's strictly receiving.
He's all-purpose.
Strictly receiving.
Let's get to Ohio State, Penn State, because I don't know how much more we could talk about this game, but I need a moment just to share my hate. Can I be granted that time?
I love you, man. Go ahead.
Okay. What was the name of that old crotchety head coach at Michigan State?
Mr. 8-3.
Mr. Mark D'Antonio.
Mr. 8-3. No, you call him the Wolverine killer. You call him.
He's not. He's not. No.
He is your daddy. He is your dad. Bro, he's 8-3. Right, hold on.
He beat up on our JV teams.
8-3. What? You're telling me the University of Michigan they put JV stuff like.
Yeah, in 2008, we went 3-9 and lost to Toledo.
So what you're telling me is one of the greatest programs of the Blue Bloods cannot recruit.
It was a program shift. You know what happened?
My program has shifted 3 times in the last 20-some years. We don't do that.
It was a bad hire. Dave Brandon's gone. It's over. Okay. Anyways.
8-3.
What's his nuts said pride comes before the fall. 2021, Michigan was gifted with a Greek god from Wake Forest.
Michigan State.
Sorry, Michigan State was gifted with the Greek god out of Wake Forest. Just an absolute dog. Rushed for 5 touchdowns. It made, what's his face? Mel Tucker, $80 million, whatever that contract ended up being.
95.
There you go. You want to know what's happened to them since then? Since that fateful day? They've gone 10-13. They've gone 5-11 in the Big Ten. They've gone 0-1 to Michigan, and let's say probably 0-2. I don't think I'm going on a limb there. I don't think I'm being a homer saying they're going to go 0-2 come Saturday. They've had a public disgrace and a coach. They missed last year a 22-yard field goal against an offense that I think scored 14 offensive yards in the second half to Indiana. Maybe it was 14 passing yards. I don't know. I'm butchering that part.
That. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yep. Bad showing. Missed a bowl. An embarrassment in the tunnel fight. Just have brought disgrace upon themselves. So after their Super Bowl,
I really do hate.
Pride has come. And
I really do hate how you sit there and say they disgrace them. Like, Bryce, I will say this, and let's be the end to this Michigan State conversation. I really do hate the way you guys speak about the transgressions of Michigan State and gloss over the disgraces of your own. But which goes in part of why you guys are the most hated fan base.
We're not the most hated fan base. Show me that stat.
I think you guys are.
Well, shocker.
Because you guys have a false, pompous mentality of greatness.
I'm pretty sure if you look up most hated fan bases, that little logo on your head is going to show up at the top.
Yeah, that's because we win games. People actually hate
pompous.
Your fan base. Huh. It's not pompous. It's a stat.
I hate Michigan State.
You know what stats do, Bryce? They tell history. And history says Ohio State wins games.
Well, stats that you like.
No, Ohio State wins games. We had the highest winning percentage in college football history.
You know the most number wins though.
Who cares about that stat? That's a dumb stat.
One thing to note: if Jim wins this Saturday, he'll go 5-4 against Michigan State, which makes me so mad because let's go through history. 2015 miracle play. 2017 he lost. 2017 he lost that game. It was a bad game. Sparty beat us. 2020. Let me put my clown nose on for that season. 2021, a Herculean effort. But what did you say a couple weeks ago? All waters rise, level out. We're gonna see that here.
I didn't say.
That's what I heard you say. And you just want to talk about dominance.
I said everything comes back to the meat.
There it is. Thank you.
And,
That's what I meant.
Everything
And just to show that D'Antonio, yeah, sure, he went 8-3, but he capitalized on Michigan when they were down. Brady Hoke.
That's not. That's his fault.
No, it's not. But let's call it stats. Let's call it how it is. Brady Hoke went 1-3 against Sparty. Rich Rod went 0-3 against Sparty. But then Lloyd Carr 10-3. Gary Moeller 3-2. Bo 17-4. Jim's gonna go 5-4.
That's a trash record against Michigan State.
Oh, a blind squirrel finds a nut a couple times.
A couple. A 4 is not a couple.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, Bryce. You and your wife are a couple. I'm saying, is there something I'm missing here?
Don't ruin my hate speech. I probably shouldn't say hate with YouTube, but don't ruin that for me. All right, Garrison. Are you taking Michigan minus the points? Minus 24?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
By the way, it was 23.5.
I see 24, but that whatever.
No, it was 23.5. The game earlier, Ohio State, Michigan, 2020.
Oh, yeah. See, that's outrageous. You get 40-point spreads if you're playing an FCS team.
You guys were the FCS team that year.
We were hurt, Garrison. There was a global pandemic. I can't believe how insensitive you are to that.
You want to tell your real views on that?
I just follow Jim. I trust Jim. And if he says, hey, we can't play, we can't play. All right. I want to give you the floor. Yeah, I want to give you the floor. You got a monstrous game coming up. Game of the year thus far. We went over the record that James Franklin has against Ohio State, which is 1-8. And I want to hear your thoughts. By the way, what city is Penn State in?
It's not Happy Valley, is it?
Happy Valley.
Oh, man, 1 for 5. All right, there we go. All right, and please chime in whenever you want to.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, man. A few things. Emeka should be back. We're not sure yet. Travion is back. That's huge for our offense. That's how I'm gonna start here. Penn State, man, they have a very good offensive line, especially on the edges. Now, with the situation of our offensive tackles, yes, that is scary. You're talking about Adiza Isaac. You're talking about Chop Robinson on that edge, man. They're very fast players. No, I mean, they're not like Ohio State defensive edges. Like Jack Slater is like 6'2", 265. JT is 6'3", 275. These guys are more around the 250-pound range. Okay, so what I'm very interested to see is if we could run the ball. Now our run pro hasn't been good this year. But Bryce, this is where Travion Henderson comes into play. This is where getting all these top-notch receivers comes into play. Now, Penn State is not a good tackling team. I found that out this year or just recently, and I'm going to give these stats to you, okay, Bryce, if you don't mind?
Please.
So in all 3 categories for all 3 positions, Michigan is number 1 of these, okay? Missed tackle rate. These are percentages. On the D line, Ohio State 12, Penn State 12. linebackers, for all the crap I've given our linebackers, Bryce, listen, 9% for Ohio State, 21 for Penn State's linebackers.
Oh, okay.
And then in the DBs, 12% miss rate tackle rate, 12% missed tackle rate for Ohio State, 16 for Penn State. So as good as that defense is, what that tells me is when they get to play against guys that are really good athletes or know how to like run the ball, they struggle.
Yep.
Now, the tough part is can you get there? Now, I've said this before, and I think last episode, the previous one before that, where Trey helps our offense is because our offensive line is not that great, especially on the edges when we run on the outside. His speed, his playmaking ability, his eliteness as a athlete compensates for all that. It just does. I think we're going to be able to take advantage of that. If this is what the stats show, and that schedule has barely been better than Michigan's, I think I think there's something to be said about that. I think that we can definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think the matchup between I was going to ask you too, is Henderson playing? Sounds like he's going to play. I know we talked about that last episode. But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Chop Henderson, I'm excited to watch him go against those tackles. I think it's going to be interesting to watch him in the pass rush. But then, yeah, will they be able to hold against Henderson in the run game? I think that's going to be a fun point.
I think they have 300-pounder on their D line. Outside of that, I mean, like I said, their edges are 250 pounds, man. If you guys are like, listen, man, I'm not saying we have Michigan's O line, but doggone it, guys, what are you big for? like, what are you big for? Another thing, like I guess this kind of ties into it with the protection of Cal McCord. Last game, he was throwing off his back foot a lot. Now, maybe he could do that because he has the arms to do it, has the talent to do it. But I think it's very important that we got to get him 2.5 seconds to make a play. Give him 2.5 seconds. For other running back situations, I don't think Dallin should play in this game. Maybe sparingly, but Dallin can't block, or he's not a very good blocker. So I think having him in this game, knowing the offensive tackle situation for us, would not be the best thing to have him in right now. What else do I have here, man?
Kalen King, Marvin Harrison Jr., that matchup. We've all
Marvin ripped him apart last year.
Yeah, that was last year, though, man. You can't keep referencing like we're
No. You mean tell you why he ripped him up, Bryce?
Why?
He's too small. He's too small. I think he's barely 6 foot or not even. He's too small.
I don't know.
And he was last year, Bryce. He was who guarded Marvin the most, and he was targeted. I mean, targeted. I think he had like 6 catches on him out of his 10. Like their DB unit, Bryce, is a very small DB. These aren't big. Like when I say big, Bryce, I mean like 100 to 190-pound to 200-pound corners. That's not what you have right there. Or maybe they're close to that, but they're not but they're very slender in size and they're not tall. If you want to go against him, Bryce, you need an elite athlete at corner, or you need a corner with some size.
He's 5'11", 190.
That ain't gonna cut it. It didn't cut it last year. It didn't cut it this year. That ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, MHJ is 6'4". He's 6'4". Jeez, 6'4", 205. All right, you're calling that.
Bryce, I mean, what? Emeka's 6'1", 205 to 210. Xavier Johnson's our heaviest receiver. He's 215. So I mean, like I said, I mean, Julian Fleming's a big guy, as we all know. So
yeah, Emeka's 6'1", 206. All right, I don't know if Penn State follows. Right, like I don't know if King's going to stay on one side of the field. Like
I doubt that. I would doubt that.
You think he'll follow Marvin?
For parts of the game, yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll be the matchup, man, because he's top 30 on the draft boards. Kalen King is, so he's top 15. He's 14 on this one. So yeah, I don't know. I think you're also missing too. I think Penn State's O-line That'll be a fun matchup because your guys' defensive line is one of the top units in the country.
Yeah, yeah, Bryce, you're right about that. I don't know if you saw this today. Tyreek Williams per PFF is their highest graded defensive tackle in the Big Ten. I'm pretty sure you're very interested, very surprised to hear that with the tackles that you have. But
Williams plays the whole game. We run
Bryce, if you play the whole game, that'll give you less. That'll probably give you more opportunities to lower your stats.
What?
If you played a full game, like I'll give you an example. If I played a full game as a wide receiver, I go off in the first half, and I don't have a second half, or maybe I can have a drop here and there, or maybe I don't get the ball as much. That would lower your PFF score. So playing, if you play really good for a short amount of time, that technically does help your PFF score. Like I don't believe if JJ McCarthy had Ohio State schedule, if they had Notre Dame schedule, his PFF score wouldn't be as high as it is right now.
Because he'd be playing more. Is what you're saying?
He'd be playing longer and better teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well,
that's a fair assessment, Bryce.
Fine.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
We're getting into nerd talk now, but
all right. So a couple of I'm gonna skip through these things real quick so we can just get on the conversation. First down defense is the most important thing for this game. Making sure that they don't move the ball with Singleton or Katron Allen. I think it's very like with Jake Aller, not Jake Aller, Drew Aller doing 6.9 per. He ain't going over the top, Bryce. Outside of Bryce, their longest play this year to a receiver is 72 yards. That was the first game of the season against West Virginia. Outside of that, I think they have 3 other plays of 30 and plus yards, and the high is 33. They don't go down the field. Now, I don't know if that's because they're trying to protect him. I don't know if it's because he can't do it. I don't know. It's for a reason, Bryce. He's checking down Charlie right now. Like all forgiveness to JJ McCarthy for me calling you that last year. You ain't nothing compared to this. You got nothing on Drew Allen. So I mean, we'll see about that. I think that favors us in that. Sonny Styles, I want to see him on their tight ends at all times.
Yeah,
at all times.
It's a good matchup. It's a fun matchup.
Yeah. I think Tommy can do some work. John, I hope Simon is in the game, dude, over Still Chambers.
Yeah.
And then no, poor Ohio State Buckeyes. Well, no, you're ruining.
It's so much hate.
He's not more important than the team. So I mean, there's that, man. Another few things I'll bring up to you. Three of the top 5 players in receiving for Penn State are all non-wide receivers. So I think that's something to check on to see if we can. I think if we can sit here and play single coverage on these wide receivers. Last year was probably a mistake, going, blitzing Michigan up. You don't even have to blitz. You can go cover one man or cover 2 man. I think we should be doing that against this team. I really do. I don't think they can. I don't think they're explosive enough to beat us. And then the last thing I'm gonna say, Bryce, is we have to win the line of scrimmage. I don't think I can put more emphasis on this. I haven't talked about Kyle McCord much, and there's a reason for that. But I think we really need to stress getting in those trenches and winning that, because I think that's where we're going to win the game. That's the only place we can win this game.
Yeah. I think this will be a game for Drew Aller to see if he's legit or not, which is kind of unfair because this is only first year starting. But this is your chance to show yourself.
Yeah.
And he's getting a lot of hype going into the season. And the tall order this week. Tall order. Well, 4.5 points. You don't be high on your own supply.
That's a Bryce. If I'm a bettor, I'm not touching this game whatsoever. But take the under.
We are Garrison,
Bryce, wait a second. No, wait a second, Bryce.
you guys are gonna blow them out. I'm smashing Ohio State 4.5.
First off, don't you ever do that to the South Christian high school football helmet again. That's a beautiful helmet, though, isn't it?
It is. It is.
That's a
And those who
beautiful
don't
helmet.
know, this is our high school football team, SC Pride, not Penn State. I do not have a Penn State helmet. Old helmet.
Wow,
But you guys
yeah.
are gonna. I think you guys are gonna win big. I think I'll be.
I think if someone blew the other route, it would be us blowing them out.
They're not gonna blow you out in Columbus. Franklin can't. Till he beats you. I just won't believe that he can beat you. That's 1-8. Harbaugh went 0-7. 0-6? Yeah.
0-5.
6. 0-5.
It would have been 0-6.
We got screwed
So,
in 16. He should have won in 16. So
We're not doing that right now.
but yeah, I think you guys win big. I'm happy the game's at noon because it's the game you're waiting for.
I don't.
I know. It should be at night. All right.
You got some SBS picks here, man. Some wise guys picks for me.
We don't have time for that.
I can write on my 5 off.
All right, go for it. Here's Garrison's picks.
We'll get mine. All right, Bryce. We'll
got a minute.
Blast through these. All right, man. We're gonna go Rutgers -5 against at IU. We're gonna hit that. Then we're also gonna go Cincy -3 against Baylor.
Okay.
Oregon and Washington State over 62. I really do believe in that one. Alabama, give me the -9 against Tennessee. I think they thrack Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
In Tuscaloosa. No, is it in Tuscaloosa? It's
in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, that game was over yesterday.
Yeah.
And then I already called it. I'm gonna change mine. I already called it. Give me the Michigan to cover against Michigan State.
Okay. Ooh.
Give me that.
Ooh, look at us. Vote picking the other teams. All right. It's here. Finally. It's competition. Let's go. Can't wait for Saturday.
Hey. We are who cares.